Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about the market rebound and the market manipulation, find out what is going on in there. Is it just manipulation or is it a little bit more sinister? Or even better yet, according to my second book, is this the last roar of the economy before the fiscal collapse? That is something that we're going to find out in today's video. This video is being recorded on none other than Friday, April 11th at 7:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as and when I'm recording this. This video is going to be indeed short, like all my other next couple of videos, because I have to be able to create 7 videos. I have to somehow manage the time up until 10 o'clock. So I have a lot of videos to pump out. This would be the biggest projects yet for me. But I believe I can do it, and I know that you guys will like the content. So anyway, besides the point, this video again is being recorded on Friday, April 11th at 7:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to help out this channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content. And even better yet, watching this video longer than normal helps the engagement on the channel and really helps it grow. So just do that and everything will be okay. Now, if you do want to be notified when I do post and upload, follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group in the description below, and you'll be notified when I do post and upload next. Now, I will want to say go to my post or my community page on the top of this channel and go and vote whether or not I should open up membership. I know we had this discussion not too long ago, but my MacBook Pro, which I'm recording on right now, is starting to fail. And I need a replacement and I need to get it in before the tariffs takes place. Then I'm kind of screwed. And if the computer does go to crap, there's nothing for me to record on. So let's hope that everything goes out well. So if you want to help out, definitely let me know in the comment section below. You need to go to the community page and I will send you a link and you guys can just go and vote. It's really important. It will be temporary. It's not something I intended to do. I wanted to make sure that you guys will well off in the economy. But yeah. Anyway, besides the point, let's go ahead. Let's begin. I'm not going to waste your time here. This video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only. We do have my second book, and this is my book that if you guys are not familiar with. The way I get my messages, I listen to the Akashic Records downplay and hear messages in my radio with some Claridian, and I will just write down messages in this book, and that would be it. I was told to call this book specifically All Knowing, All Seeing, Thy Truth, Thy Future. So that is what this book is called. This specific channeling is recorded on December 31st, 2024. So, and channeled at 2:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is particularly for this year and for the next 5 years towards the end of the decade. I'm surprised a lot of it has already came to pass, which is a little bit, on the nose here. When you start to look at it at the second page, it says here, the economy shall roar one last time this decade, this century. Now, let me read it to you one more time. The economy goes up. The stock market goes up already. It went up. Trump said, oh, I'm going to back off the tariff. We have 90 days, et cetera, et cetera. The stock market went up. And is that market manipulation? Or is that just the economy roaring one last time for the decade and then it just kind of bottomed out? It says here, the economy shall roar one last time this decade of the century. We're going to find out in this specific video, is that the last roar or is that just market manipulation? And it's not the last roar just yet for the economy. Right? So that's that. To really further enhance the information that we're getting, I really would like to start talking about the extinction. So definitely expect videos about animals that are coming back from life, animals coming to be extinct, stuff like that. If you're not sure what extinction means an animal or a lineage or species has just disappeared off the planet. But because of new technology, we're able to bring them back via DNA. Alright, so it says here in this book here, it says a new life will once again breathe its way through animals that do not exist or exist. They will be successful. So a great example of this is going to be the woolly rat. They were able to take the genome and the DNA sequence of a mammoth and enter it into a rat to make it a woolly rat. And so now we have our first ever woolly rat. And then we also just got reports on the news that they have an extinct animal from 10,000 years ago known as the dire wolf. So there's a lot of this information And also, you can definitely see how it's coming into play here and how everything's working out through this book. The book tells it all. Alright, so let's go ahead. Let's find out what the heck is going on in today's video. This video is going to be short as I promised. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's find out what's going on. Hold on, I gotta get my handy dandy. Okay, so I'm getting pictures. So let's do pictures. We're gonna use this one instead. Here's Angel. Tell me about the U.S. economy. Tell me about the U.S. economy. What is going on in the U.S. economy in regard to the stock market? Because the economy was going down and the market was going down because of 45 tariffs taking place. 45 has since then rescinded majority of tariffs, with the mere exception of China. What is going on in the market? Is this the last war, as said in my book, or is this just market manipulation? Tell me a little bit more about what is going on here. He said literally in his White House interview that he promised all his friends, and his friends were able to buy things at low prices. Okay, so we have the world's leader here. Okay, the White House. So we have someone who, is this the White House, is the president, or is this someone outside the president? Okay, is this someone outside the president? Okay, what else? What else do we need to know? Joy and happiness with green, that's money. Dark money, okay, so dark. Something comes to a halt, a screeching halt. Something fast moving. Top of deck here is young. Young energy, new. This is new. This is coming soon. This is new. So we're asking again about that market manipulation, right? We're asking about what is going on in terms of the U.S. economy, but also the world economy. I'm starting to see the world economy at a global stage here. We have here leaders around the world who are not within the White House. So this is not referring to the United States economy. So leaders around the world, not within the White House, see the color green. They see money. This is the color green. I see money. And to them, when they see money, these world leaders, they see joy and happiness, right? They find it as the key to winning the electorate, the key to becoming as a leader for their nation. We do have here darkness, right? There will be darkness for a lot of these countries, but right after that darkness comes the sun rising from the horizon, right? So it goes from, the world's leaders around the world see money as pure happiness, the key to keeping your citizen satisfied. And then you enter a period of temporary darkness, which I assume at this point in time is saying when the tariffs actually go into effect. And by this point in time, many countries come out of it very soon after. A lot of the nations come out of it very soon after, because you see the sun on the horizon. The sun rises up, right? There's no darkness. Darkness is only temporary, but the light comes up every day. It's the promise of light. And underneath this world's leader card, you have males and females. You have the letter 0, right? They are not going to be affected. The ones who are going to get affected are the ones within the U.S. continuum. That's what I'm hearing, the word continuum. So whatever is within the realm of the United States and the continuum will be the ones that's going to get affected. But when it comes to the tariffs, though, they're not affecting the world's leaders. It's not affecting the economy, because even though it's temporarily, they're going to take quite the hit. Their economy, everything's going to be on the uprise, right? And underneath this world's leader card reverse, which is the White House reverse, we have people celebrating. People are celebrating. The seventh card, this is July. Around July, I would expect that many nations, because what we have, we're in April right now. So May, June, July. Yeah, July will be the 90-day period, and a lot of countries are celebrating. They feel a sense of liberation from the United States. In some way, a lot of the countries are like, finally, 45 gave us what we always wanted. We wanted freedom from the US dollar. We wanted freedom from the control and the reign of the American people, control of the American government. Right? There's some sort of liberation here. There's a celebration of freedom, the United States being actively involved in every part of the world, whether it comes to global affairs, whether it comes to foreign affairs, whether it comes to money, whatever it is, the U.S. power has diminished to the point where people and nations are celebrating the loss of power for the United States sometime in July of this year. We also do have here the economy taking the hit, quite the hit, right? We have a circle pointing downwards, which indicates male, but in this aspect, it's pointing downwards, means in the past it went down for these many nations. But here you have joy and happiness, and in reverse, we also have the home upside down. So it's the opposite of joy and happiness, right? You would assume so. Underneath this darkness, you have here linkage, right? Prison, right? Being held hostage, right? It's underneath the black card here, which means it really further enables the threat that the economy poses on the American people and also on the global citizens around the world, because it restricts them from the ability to have the freedom to really do what they want. They have to do it within the subject of their own means. Now, underneath this horizon, what is coming on the horizon, what's the bright side, is being grateful and thankful for what you do and do have compared to the people around you who don't have much. Being grateful, being thankful, right? That's on the horizon. They're very thankful that they lost control of the United States and the US lost its power and influence. Ironically enough, when you start to look at this from a different perspective, from the United States standpoint of view, let's go ahead, let's take a look. We have here the leaders right now in the United States, which are two males, right? The two male leaders, which is 45 and the couch lover, or IKEA. We also have here the world's leader, the White House, upside down, and celebration. This is talking about a military parade or some sort of big spending from the U.S. White House, from the White House in particular. There's some sort of spending. They are celebrating something. This had to do with the celebration of America and all those type of things. It will mark officially. Let me see how old the United States is this year. Let me see how old the U.S. is. That's going to play a big role. How old is the US? Okay, so this year, America will turn 250 years old, exactly on the nose. It also symbolizes that America and also all world empires, any empire, when it reaches 250 years old, normally indicates the collapse of some sort, which makes sense because right after the celebration, the massive celebration, we have the collapse in the economy. The collapse in the economy. So what is it telling us? It's telling us that the economy is going to kind of somewhat stabilize for quite some time, but it's also going to start tanking soon around July. Right? It's going to start tanking again. And here you have joy and happiness in the home reverse. It's telling me here that there are people who are in high positions of power, they will be joyful and happy. But the American people, they won't. And also I'm seeing a market collapse in the housing market. So there are going to be some issues in the housing market. We also have a dark, dark period for many Americans. Many Americans will be deported. Many Americans will be locked up, chained. The freedom by this point will be restricted. So this is the point of the stock market from now until July. And here what's on the horizon, grateful and thankful. People are being grateful and thankful they themselves have not been detained yet. That's the energy that I'm getting. Um, yeah, that's the energy that I'm getting for that. I don't see anything else. Spirit, do we have to, is there anything else that you would like me to ask? Is there anything else you'd like me to ask? No. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think there is anything else that Spirit wants me to ask. Like, what do you think of this video, Spirit? Do you want me to just ask if it's the last roar of the century? Okay, yeah, okay, so they want me to ask one more time. Well, let me ask if it's the last war of the economy, the last war of the century, excuse me. Alright, so Spirits and Angels tell me it's the last war of the century, where the economy shall roar one last time this decade of the century. Will the economy roar one last time this decade of the century? Okay. Top of the deck, we have World's Leader. From bottom of the deck, we have Tower. Top of the deck, the bottom of the deck, we have the Devil reverse. And then the bottom deck, you also have the Sunflower reverse. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so this is the last decade of the century. Will the economy roar one last time? Is this the market manipulation, or is this the last roar? So the first card that comes in is we have Arizona reverse, which means it's dead. Things survive even in harsh circumstances. It's reversed. This is telling me here that it is not quite as dry as one would expect. It's a lot more luscious, it's a lot more wet, it's a lot more jungle-like. That's the energy in the ambiance that I'm getting. More jungle, more wet. The ability to hold on to moisture, a little too much so. That's why it's represented here as highly saturated. Something is highly saturated, full of water, full of life. But something is so full of saturated, it's overpowering in some way. We're asking, will the economy roar one last time in this decade? We don't get an answer yet. But in that economy and in that stock market, there's a lot of what to call it. There's a lot of saturation, too much in one place. And here you have the escape, right? The escape from the elemental disaster, escape the disaster. So we're asking, well, will the economy and the stock market crash one last time in a decade? It's essentially saying, yeah, it will, because essentially it's going to force you to have to choose whether or not you want to stay in a heavily saturated market where your money barely means anything, or you choose to escape that. Right? Those are two outcomes here. Underneath this highly saturated, what is highly saturated? There's something that's being shined a light on. Something's being highly shined a light on. Right? Something's being shined on. That's what's being heavily saturated. Now you go into the next part here. You start to see the color light blue. And light color means I speak. I escape because I speak out. I speak, right? And here you have the highly saturated, which is highly saturated of documents. There's a lot of it. Maybe potentially the bureaucracy makes it very difficult to even like do anything. Whatever it is, there's something here that is so much work. It's like almost makes you question whether or not you should still be here. So that card that followed after the light blue is we have here fast power, soul, power, reality, mind, time, and space. These are your chakras, right? Your ability, your chakras. That's what this card is coming in at. Your chakras, your ability, your sense of self, your sense of self-worth. And here you have two men in reverse here. Two men in reverse. The number two in reverse, which is the blue card, which symbolizes the indigo and the community. I speak what I see. I can't speak what I see, right? And here you have your darkness. So the road goes from the darkness into the light. Instead, it goes from darkness, it just stays in darkness, really. And here you have the world leader in the White House and a coming tower moment. So essentially, what is it saying? Is this saying a market manipulation, or is this saying that this will be the last war of the decade for the century? Will this be the last economy war before the end of the decade? Okay, so it's telling me yes. This will be the last war of the decade before until the end of the decade. So it's telling me this will be the last war at the end of the decade. So yeah, the economy and the stock market just kind of like it's going to dwindle and it's going to bottom out. It's going to bottom out and it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen right away, but it's the beginning of the economy and the stock market and all those type of things bottoming out. It's not going to be able to recover as fast as one may think. Alright, so that's what I'm getting. That's all the information I'm getting. It makes sense. I mean, 45, his term ends on 2029. Oh, hold on, he elected in 2025. Yeah, 2029. Wow, that's almost a full decade that he's been in power in some way. So, yeah, 2029 is when that ends. Alright, that's all I'm getting in terms of market manipulation. I'm going to end this video. I love you. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Let me know what you guys think of today's video. I'm really curious to see what you're all thinking. Alright, I love you. Bye.